I'm sick and tired of this damn argument that people give. Like right now, Republicans are giving about the big, beautiful bill that they didn't have a chance to read it. That's total bullshit. I'm sick of people thinking that, of congressmen who are saying that they're kind of intellectually lazy and they're not capable of utilizing the full capabilities when you have 435 congressmen, 220 of them are Republican right now. An 1,100-page bill sounds like a very big bill, right? But not if you have 220 people who who hopefully are working together in a cause towards to making a more perfect union and are ethical. Because if they were ethical and they were working towards a more perfect union to make a better functioning government and society and all that stuff, an 1,100-page bill with 220 people, that's 5 pages a person. To truly, like, deeply dig into every single one of those words, and you have a couple of days at least to analyze 5 pages. And if you read bills, they're not like full, complete pages of text. They're individual, they're like this particular provision of the bill is like one line that, or maybe even 4 lines, and then it goes to the next one and it skips a line and makes 2 or 3 more lines of text. So an individual bill um, is really only what, maybe 50% of the page, maybe 60, maybe 60, 70% of the page at most. It doesn't make any sense. But it does in one area. Trump called it the swamp, right? We call it the swamp. It's corruption. I call it very simple: honor and ethics. George Washington said that ethics are like water. Particularly in Washington, if you don't have ethics, it, you can't live. Benjamin Franklin said, without ethics, there is no freedom. That's right. An ethical leadership in Washington will respect the Constitution and will understand all sides of each individual, uh, all of our constitutional rights. And the reason why they'll understand that is because they took the damn oath. And if they took the oath, there's actual teeth in that oath. Bevin's laws, Bevin's actions, 18 U.S.C. 242, you want to treat that oath seriously, because being in contrary to that oath can get you sued, it can get you thrown in jail. When you take it, it's important. So you really got to be. So that means when you get a 1,000-page bill and you have 435 members of Congress, 220 of them are Republican, it really isn't that hard. Particularly if you're debating with honor and integrity, which is what the 14th Amendment Section 3 is all about. If you followed the 14th Amendment Section 3, the 14th Amendment Section 3 was created after the Civil War. And the 14th Amendment Section 3 says that it takes 2/3 of Congress to be able to bring you back if you've, violated the 14th Amendment Section 3. That's not a punishment. That's telling you what you have to do is you have to get everyone in the people to agree for you to be there, and that there's already enough people who have voted to allow you to exist because of your ethics. And hopefully that 2/3 would remove you if you started to become an unethical pig. That's the 14th Amendment Section 3. It forces you to acknowledge it. And the 14th Amendment Section 3 was very successful at being able to do what its intention was of bringing the country together. But there was that element that didn't want to, and these were the people who became the Klan, who became the people who were talking about the South will rise again, all that sort of stuff, particularly after the Great Betrayal, or how we white people call it, the Great Compromise, which was total bullshit, because it's just we white people trying to not feel bad. The fact that we agreed that we were going to build a more perfect union, that we were going to respect individuals' rights, and we just decided one day to keep the union together for a little bit longer, was to allow racist ass piles of crap people who were from the Confederacy to win an office. The 14th Amendment, Section 3 clearly says that they shouldn't have. Things of that nature, we just didn't. It's hard. Yeah. Ethics is supposed to be hard. That's one of the ways you know that you're ethical, is that you make long, difficult quandaries into your own ethical code and against what you're talking about. That's when you know you have ethics. Having ethical difficulties, having moral pains means that you're an ethical person. It's what you make as the decision that defines whether or not you truly uphold your ethics or not. But in Washington, that's important. That's why you need to be able to do that. It's one of the reasons why probably we should have a quo ranturo. Quo ranturo is a right held by states' attorneys generals to be able to constitutionally challenge any member of Congress, Senate, or the presidency. But of course, you have to be right. When you say that a person is not going to be there, you have to be right. And if not, there can be financial penalties. There can be damages sought by the member of Congress, Senate, or the president when the state attorney general says that you're not supposed to be there. If we did that, if we developed, like going into Congress, that every time, that at the end of every election, a quo ranturo review of every member of Congress, every member of the Senate, and the president himself or herself, that they're supposed to go through a quo ranturo review. And it should. And we should have the debate about, like, the 2006 DOJ memo, collateral consequences upon conviction, and have an honest review of a core question put out by the Department of Justice in 2006 that is kind of like implied in that document when it relates to elected officials. Is a person who is a convicted felon a member of Congress? Once they are that, is that the equivalent of being convicted in the Senate, and therefore you can't be there because you already have been convicted of an impeachable offense and you should be gone? That should be a discussion that we have. And if we had a quo ranturo review of each individual person, a constitutional review of them to make sure that they all fall within the guidelines of the Constitution and that is fair across the board. We don't do that. And it's one of the reasons why you have the swamp. Because we don't try to pin a universal ethical standard that is fair and reasonable and we shouldn't have it like have them having to be like agreeing with me or agreeing with you on everything. It should be like the basic ethical standards, like criminal background checks and, national security checks, quo ranturo about whether or not that these people are actually in guidance with the Constitution. And to have those debates about what happens if a person entering office is potentially in violation of the 14th Amendment, Section 3. What is the ethical standard written into the impeachment clause? And that what would that mean to people about misdemeanors and felonies? And high crimes and misdemeanors? Because then you have an ethical standard that is not necessarily related to their political ideas, because everyone's supposed to have an idea. That's what they're there for. Whether or not their ideas you agree with or disagree with is not the point. It's making certain that they are people of ethics, honor, and integrity. And we can do that by establishing those things. And if you did, they would read those bills. They would read those bills intensely. I read a large part of it. I skimmed it in a number of ways. But if you have 435 people and over 200 people on your particular side of the debate, you should be able to fully review any bill that ever lands in front of you. But it's just the question is, are you willing to be ethical, honorable, and have integrity? Not just as an individual, but as every single member of the Congress, every single member of the Senate, and the President of the United States. It's just that simple. Can they possess honor, ethics, and integrity? And if they do, then a bill could be 10,000 pages, 20,000 pages. It wouldn't matter because they do the damn work. They would make certain that the documents are fully reviewed because that's what honor and integrity demand. We don't do that. And we can change that if we, the American people, choose it to. We can have honor and integrity. We just have to choose to do so. Thank you.